As I sat in my grandma's lap, I was transfixed in between two worlds. Our world, where I could feel the tension build as I held my breath and my heart raced, and into a world of mermaids and dolphins. A world where you could hear the whooshing past your ears and feel the warmth of the sunlight stream through the water. The young heroine in this story, the girl that I could see inside of myself, had just been captured. She was stuck and had no idea how she was going to escape. I turned to my grandma with the anticipation building, asking over and over again, what is going to happen? As questions swirled in my mind, she turned quietly, gently, and encouraged me to turn the page, see what happens. Turn the page, see what happens. It seems simple, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like we just turned the page from 2+ years in a pandemic? A pandemic, this once-in-a-century, life-altering, and for some, life-shattering event. Yes, the world turned the page. We did turn the page, right? Or are we stuck? Stuck behind Zoom screens, stuck with the extra 15 pounds, stuck in that job, stuck being glared at just because you sneeze, stuck feeling alone, stuck in this collective heavy sigh. But what if, instead of waiting for the world to turn the page, we could change our world by turning our own? Turn our own page. Before the day that my grandma encouraged me to do that, I honestly did not know that I could. I was born into a situation in which I knew what it meant to be hungry and sometimes cold. I knew that some mornings where I woke up would not be where I would lay my head down to sleep that night. My story was being written for me, and the pages were constantly shifting and turning. In fact, I had begun to believe the story that society had already written for me, a child of my circumstance. You all know the story. It's not the one where I'm standing here speaking with you this evening. No. It's the one where I'm barely surviving an abusive relationship, protecting children I can't afford to feed, hoping that one day they will have an opportunity I never did. Rather than accept my fate as written, I held on to hope. Hope that one day I would be able to turn the page in my story. While I dreamt of a brighter future, I became quite observant of others' stories, and I took notes. These were stories of hard work, learning, growth, and success. I saw pieces of myself in each of these people, and I knew that real opportunity existed. My chance finally came when I received a scholarship to attend university to pursue my dream of becoming a doctor. That first day on campus felt like I had turned the page into a new chapter. This was it. This was my new beginning. I loved the feeling of the sunlight dancing across my face as I walked to campus. or the cozy feeling of choosing to stay in bed and watch cartoons all day. This was my chance. It was exhilarating. It was empowering. It was mine. Slowly, something began to shift. The air turned cold, and the sky got cloudy. It felt like I had been stuck rereading the same page over and over again. It was as if I was scanning to the top of a page in someone else's story, thinking that if I read it just one more time, something will change. What I realized is that I had written a story I had been told to write to achieve my dream, and it wasn't mine. While I can't tell you exactly when or why, I just knew. It was time for me to turn the page away from biology classes and cartoons. I was going to become a doctor, and I was going to write the story my way. And write I did. This chapter took shape in such a splendid way. I was top of my medical school class. I got the job. And I was recognized for my ability to lead colleagues and to comfort patients. So why did I feel trapped? Trapped in an unexpected part of my story. Soon I found myself as a cog in the medicine machine, writing the same story that many doctors before me had written. The story goes as something a little like this, where you imagine a future with freedom, and instead, what you find is that you're entrapped in a sick healthcare system designed to produce profits, not to heal people. I realized what I thought would be a long, fulfilling chapter in my life was simply not meant for me. And so I turned the page once again. As I stood in front of the hospital doors for what would be the last time, the sunlight streaming through the glass and the cold air rushing past me as people came and went, I stepped through them into the waiting cold, anxious to see what this unexpected chapter might hold. Now, I wish I could tell you what this chapter's ending looks like. But the truth is, I just don't know yet. And that's the beauty of it. In this new chapter, I am founder of an amazing company that gives time back to busy people. Time I wish I had as a doctor to heal. Time I hope to have with my family. And time I want to spend thoughtfully crafting the next page of my story. So when it comes to your story, are you stuck? Are you rereading the same page? Are you loving the chapter you're in? Or are you just starting a new one? No matter where you are, just remember the moral of this story. As my grandma once wisely shared with me, you have the power to turn the page and see what happens. Thank you.